All right, let's do this. Hi to the three of you that are watching. I haven't made too many videos. I had a kind of an onslaught when I first started doing this, and to tell you the truth, last month or so. Oh, first let me tell you, I'm wearing blue because kind of blue. Not depressed, just blue. And I'm making this video to explain, hopefully explain, why I'm blue. I probably ought to do it pretty quick because I'm doing this outside and it looks like it's going to rain. And again, I'm doing this extemporaneously, don't have any notes, no teleprompter, not monetized, mostly doing this for me. I just watched the last two videos that I did. Actually watched them with Sherry because I was over there yesterday. And she was asking me why I hadn't done, any more videos. And to tell you the truth, the last couple I did, I posted one of them here to YouTube, and I didn't share it on Facebook. Didn't share the link on Facebook because I felt I was a little ragey, a little ranty, kind of upsetting about them passing these, late-term abortion laws, making it legal to, well, I don't really want to talk about that, but I posted another video and I talked about it some more. Well, I didn't post it. I recorded it. I'm still not sure if I'm even going to post it because after watching it yesterday, it's kind of incoherent and confused because I have this problem. And I think I'm just starting to recognize the problem. I think I've had ADD my whole life. Didn't realize it, and it's something you don't really get over. And I don't think that attention deficit disorder is really the right name for it. Because really, when you look at it, on the face of it, it's not a deficit of attention. And truthfully, I really didn't understand it until Sherry was telling me about, what was going on with one of my nieces. It's not a deficit of attention. It's the fact that a person with attention deficit disorder is really kind of hyperactive. And the fact that they want to pay attention to everything. Which leads me to why I'm making this video now. Because I find myself currently suffering from information overload. Too many contrasting views. Too much head-to-head intellectual competition, I think, going on in the world. The world seems to be changing. If you peruse YouTube, you'll find Church Militant. Now, this particular YouTube channel is basically a Catholic organization raging against the Catholic Church and the perceived, what's the word? Well, the things that they find wrong with the church leaders. And, I mean, it goes much deeper than that. But interesting dialogues on Church Militant. At the same time, you'll find your Q decoders. Q is not a conspiracy theory. Anybody that looks at it long enough can realize that conspiracy theory is not the truth about Q. But, again, there are varying voices. Pros, cons, lefts, rights, ups, downs. What I recently discovered was all the black voices that are on YouTube that are Republicans that are explaining why they're not Democrats anymore, why they walk away. After watching some of that stuff, I realized I think I've been a Republican my entire life. I think somehow I was conditioned to believe I was a Democrat. I've said it before in other of my videos that, a long time ago I was accused of being a bleeding heart liberal. But a good look at history will prove that it was the Republicans that freed the slaves. It was the Republicans that gave women their rights. It was Republicans that really wanted everybody to be equal, not the Democrats, which are exceedingly more and more just turning hard left. A lot of scary stuff on YouTube. A lot of interesting stuff on YouTube. But if you look at one, you got to look at the others. And I got to say, it's hard to be pragmatic if you're watching these independent videos. Yeah, it's what you're watching right now, isn't it? And I have no intention of these actually ever meaning anything to anybody but me. Or, my progeny, like I said before. Or the three of you who are watching. Information overload. Attention deficit. The inability to focus is because there's so much going on. Now, I envy people that can focus, that can use willful ignorance. I used to be able to do that for a while. But I don't know. Why am I a big picture guy? Why do I pay attention to bigger things than myself? I like to think I do it because it spares me personal human drama. It keeps me from fighting with people because I know there's bigger things in the world that kind of command my attention. Kind of makes it hard to be selfish too. I have actually contemplated trying to be more selfish. I used to liken conservative and liberal to selfish and selfless, respectively, I think. Well, I used to think liberal was selfless and conservative was selfish. I was wrong. Because if you really take a good hard look, you'll see that there's a certain class of people that's trying to enslave all of us. And there's another class of people that would rather us all be equal and free. Sometimes that's hard to see because we have disingenuous leaders. Yeah, disingenuous. That was the word I started out with on that last video I posted on YouTube that I did not share the link to on Facebook. And I'm hoping to do this one, and I'll share the link. Trying not to rage. Don't want to rage. Don't want to rant. Just trying to share some information. Trying to get you to take a look at YouTube. Peruse it. Link out. Look at stuff that you ordinarily wouldn't look at. Open your mind. Maybe that's not a good idea. I think it's a good idea. Because it makes it easier to understand our leaders' motivations. Makes you understand, helps you understand the masses. You know, not everybody wants to make YouTube videos. Not everybody wants to watch videos. Not everybody wants to watch me or anybody else like me. Hell, it turns out I really don't like watching myself. But it's just the same. You know, most people don't like to sound their own voice. But it's interesting what you'll find if you just look. If you dig a little bit deeper and pay attention to things that you normally wouldn't pay any attention to. But at the same time, I can understand why you wouldn't. The world really is a scary place. I read a book probably 10 years ago that basically explained that on a macrocosmic level, so to speak, we're the equivalent of a 5th grader as a civilization. Which means we're still very young, still very stupid. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's regulated, controlled, but it's other people. It's people controlling people. People trying to manipulate people. And people are still kind of our own worst enemy. I mean, imagine if you were a 5th grader. Still, imagine, can you remember how you were when you were a 5th grader? When I was a 5th grader, I had my head busted open by a swing set. Girl pulled the triangle off the swing. I don't know how it came off. I mean, it was bolted. I guess the bolts rusted out or something. Got my head busted open. Had to get 8 stitches on the skin of my skull. I was home alone. Didn't pay attention to my mom. My mom told me to stay in the house. She was going to pick up her friend because she was going to give her a permanent. My mom did that sort of thing for her friends. Permanents, hair color, things like that. She told me to stay in the house, not to go outside and do my homework. When I was done with my homework, I was supposed to stay in the house. But nope. My rebellion ran deep. The rebellion's still kind of innate. But it's that ADD thing. I'm paying attention to way too much, which is why I have information overload. Anyway, I'll finish telling that story. I got my head busted open. The girl lived behind us. Oh, and mind you, back when I was in 5th grade, nobody had fences. there was no fences anywhere. I mean, you could walk from my house blocks. I mean, 5-6 blocks, and only touch the street when you had to cross it. You could walk through people's yards, never even encounter a fence. Now everybody's got fences, which, I don't know, kind of makes you think of adolescence. As you grow older, there comes a moment when you want your privacy. You don't want everybody to be seeing you and listening to you and paying attention to you. So anyway, the steel pole that was the swing set, I was swinging at the time. Neighbor girl behind us, she was a couple years older than me, and her little brother was on the other swing, but she was swinging on the triangle. You didn't see that visual aid. She was swinging on the triangle. And she pulled it off. Pole came down on my head. Busted my head open. I was still in my uniform from Catholic school. My green pants and my white shirt. And apparently, excuse me. Apparently, when you get your head busted open, you bleed a lot. And I was bleeding like crazy. My white shirt was completely red with blood. And that dark scarlet red. Part of my pants. Girl and her little brother ran home, because they're like, oh no, whatever. Just scapegoated right out of there. There I was. Didn't listen to my mom. Went outside to play before she got home. So nobody was home. I was by myself. All alone, head busted open. So I took off running because I knew where my mom was going, and it was just on the other side of Interbay. Her friend lived on, I can't remember the name of the street. Maybe it was Bay. Bay Street? No, not Bay Street. It doesn't matter. It's like a block above Interbay, and we were 2 blocks south of Interbay. So I took off running. I was running to my mom's friend's house, and I'm running up Elkins and bleeding like crazy, face covered with blood, shirt covered with blood. And I got about halfway up that street, and I saw my mom coming down the road in her car, and she just, Mom never really panicked. I guess that's kind of something I got from her, because I don't panic. I did then, but I was in 5th grade, I was a kid. So she pulls up right in front of me, grabs something out of the car, puts it on my head, went straight to the hospital. They saw me pretty quick, stitched up my head. Overheard the doctor telling my mom it was a good thing she came along, because if she hadn't, I probably wouldn't have made it the other half of the street. I probably would have bled out. So, doctor was telling her how lucky she was, because I had actually lost a lot of blood. Amazing, you wouldn't think that would, it might be part of my problem, as I got my head bust open when I was 5th grade. I don't know if I was ever dropped on my head when I was a baby, but, maybe that was made up for it. So, I don't know what that has to do with information overload or attention deficit. But I can tell you from experience, if you open your eyes, start looking, and accept that the world's a lot scarier place than you originally thought, then there may be a path to intellectual redemption. But maybe not everybody wants to be an intellectual. Not everybody wants information overload. Not everybody wants to know that there really is evil in the world. Really deep, dark, freaking evil. Because I guarantee you that's what you'll find. And I guess what I'm advocating is that there are some truly good people making some truly good videos that are on YouTube. And in some cases, I think YouTube's trying to shut these people down. I just saw somebody from Facebook, a Facebook whistleblower, just came out and was explaining that yes, Facebook does shadow ban. Facebook does control what you see, what you hear. Maybe Google does too. You got to consider it's all media. So, I don't know. They find ways to bypass that. People find ways to get around that. But you also got to consider who runs the media. What do they want you to know? What kind of bubble, what kind of box do they want you to live in? Because truthfully, I don't know. I watch these things on YouTube. A lot of different voices. A lot of them concur with each other without ever talking to each other because they're all looking at the same information, which is there for anybody that wants to dig. I don't know. I could have been, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I should have been an investigative journalist or something like that. But I don't know. More than likely, I would have been one of the guys to get killed. Die mysteriously. When you start looking at that, you start seeing things too. So, I guess I'm just urging you to accept these communications. Because communication, collaboration, cooperation, the 3 C's, as far as I'm concerned, are the most important things to do. And you got to learn to communicate with yourself. And you communicate with yourself by getting more information. And I'm not saying you got to go into information overload. I'm not saying you got to be blue. I mean, it might make you blue. I think that's why I wear red more often than not than I used to. I don't like being blue. I'm kind of making this video because I was playing my guitar yesterday and just wasn't in it, which kind of told me there was something I needed to do. So, I'm doing this. See, right now I'm looking at myself instead of the camera. Okay, I'm looking at the camera. So anyway, I'm going to finish this because I don't want it to cut me off, and I just looked at the time and I'm at 24 minutes. So, I'm going to end this now because it's going to cut me off. Information overload. Attention deficit, which I think is the wrong word. Paying attention to everything. The inability to focus is actually the ability to observe. And that's can be a hindrance, can be troubling. And I'm blue because I'm suffering from information overload. Catholics fingering Catholics. black people, showing that the Republicans are really the party of black people. Q posts decoded. The president being called things that he's not, and you don't know that if the only thing you get is, in the mainstream. Because I tell you what, I've never seen so much spin. Sometimes it's laughable. Sometimes it's disappointing. Sometimes it's enraging. So, anyway, that's it. Thanks for the 3 of you that are watching. And I love y'all. Be good.